Hi, everyone. It's Christina with Landscape Management Magazine, and I'm here today with Ben Gandy. He's a principal with Envisor Consulting. Thanks for joining me, Ben.
Great to be here. Thank you.
And we're here today to talk about Equip Expo. Ben is presenting two sessions. So, we're going to do a little bit of a tease about the sessions, and I'm excited to hear about what we'll learn.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so one of the sessions is about scaling your business. So, why don't you give me the elevator pitch? Like, why is it important, and when a business should start thinking about that?
Absolutely, Christina. So, when we talk about scaling a business, we're talking about growing a business. But if you grow your business without being thoughtful about it, it's just chaotic, and it just means more work and more hours and more stress and pressure and chaos. And that's not what scaling your business is about. Scaling your business is about figuring out how to duplicate systems and processes in a way that I can grow without it being chaotic, so that it's fun, it's organized, and growth is important. You have to grow. We're in a war for talent, for labor, for account manager, production managers, for branch managers, and part of the compelling story that your business needs to tell is a story about growth, about opportunities. So you got to grow. You got to be investing in that, but you can't have it be just this chaotic mess where growth just means I work that much harder. It means that we're scaling in a structured way.
What are you hoping someone that's sitting in that session will get out of it?
So one of the things that we're going to present in this session is sort of, okay, I don't think anybody's going to argue with us that you need to develop systems in your business so that you can scale. All right. But the next question that I would have as a business leader is, okay, well, how do I organize that? How do I think about that? Where do I start? Okay. So one of the concepts that we're going to kind of communicate is there's a workflow that's embedded in your organization now that says I get leads or opportunities, and then I have to develop scope or design, and then I have to estimate them, and then I have to sell it, and then I've got to produce it, and then I've got to close the job out or renew it or bill it, and all those steps constitute workflow. Well, that is a great organizational thread to begin to develop your SOPs, your system, your standard operating procedures, so you can scale your business. If you're running $1 million business, I'm running that workflow over and over again, a stack a million high. A $5 million business is a little bit higher stack. It's the same stuff. So if I can develop and document that workflow, then I'm beginning to create the templates that I need to scale. And so we're going to talk about that workflow, and we're going to talk a little bit about, okay, so what are some of the critical elements in each one of those phases that you need to include in your standard operating procedures so that you can scale with structure and without. You're going to have some chaos no matter how you scale, but minimize that, optimize your opportunities.
All right. Well, let's talk about the second session.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's really interesting because the title is Know Your Numbers. So I had to ask you, starting off, what does that mean to a landscape business owner? What does Know Your Numbers mean?
So as you start to run your business and grow your business, scale your business, you got to understand your numbers. You got to understand the financial side of the business. And frankly, I did not get into landscaping a million years ago when I got in, because of a fascination with numbers. I got in because I love horticulture, I love being outside, I love the creating beautiful places. But I've learned to really appreciate the number side of it too. If you're going to be a responsible businessman, or woman, then you got to understand your numbers, and that means understanding how to create a budget, Christina. And I didn't go into landscaping knowing how to do that, but it's not that hard to learn. But we need to talk about it. We need to understand, well, how do you create a budget? We're coming up on the season to do so. So how do you create a budget? And then how do you understand how to look at your numbers month to month to month? They tell a story. So what is the story that your numbers are telling you? They need to communicate to you what you do well, what you don't do well, and how to improve your business. we want to start our conversation around budgeting and about, how should your chart of accounts be laid out? I mean, there's an industry standard out there that I've had an opportunity to work with literally hundreds of companies around the country at this point. Okay, so you want to be able to compare your numbers to peers, similar businesses. So we'll review sort of a standard chart of accounts so that everybody understands uh, how to lay out their financials in a way that will allow them to compare them to their peers. We'll talk about a little vocabulary. What's the difference between a net margin, an operating margin, a contribution margin, and those sorts of things, so that we level set everybody in terms of the financial vocabulary. And we'll talk about how to read a profit and loss statement and what's the story that it's telling us. In fact, we're going to bring some profit and loss statements that we've plagiarized from here and there, and just talk about all right, what's the story with this company based on just a set of numbers. Anybody can read the story as a narrative, but what if it's just a bunch of numbers on a page? Well, let's go through that exercise together through an iteration or two, so that we can come away with the story. And all right, if this was your company, what would you go home and do?
Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time, Ben, to give us a little taste of what we'll see in Louisville. But I'm looking forward to seeing it in person.
Absolutely, absolutely. Me too. Thanks so much.